All right, good morning, everybody. What's going on? How y'all doing? Jay here. Welcome back to the Coffee Q&A, our morning Q&A about coffee every day, every weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern. How you doing, Craig? Good to see you, man. How's things up in Ottawa? I hear we're having a lot of snow again up in the American New England region. So I wonder, are you guys getting any more snow up there in Ottawa? I'm surprised at how much snow they're getting. Like a friend of mine up in New Hampshire, Troy Lucas, he owns a place called Lucas Roasting Company. He was posting this morning. It looks like they're getting about 10 to 12 to 13 inches of snow in the next day or so. So crazy. Mom, good morning, man. How are you doing? How's everything going? So welcome back to the show. Today, we're going to be talking about iced coffee. So last weekend on Saturday, we released a video on the mainline. We released a mainline video about my visit to Sano, Tochigi, a little tiny rural town out about 2 hours by train outside of Tokyo. And went there to visit a friend in their house because they've been working on this house, this what they call a kominka house, these old houses that a lot of people are just kind of abandoning. In Japan, it's very interesting because there the houses really have no value. Unlike here in America, where the house has a lot of value, there only the land has value. So people will buy land, build a house on it, live in it for 30 years, and then after the 30 years, they basically will sell it off for, the house doesn't matter because whoever's buying the property, they'll probably knock down the house and build a new one. So it's an interesting way of looking things that's different than here in the United States. But my friends, they found this house. This family this house was 130 years old, and in 2015 they bought it, and they've been restoring it, and it's gorgeous. Like I've been watching their progress through Facebook and stuff over the years, and I've really been blown away by it. And every time I've been to Japan, it was only for like 2 to 3 days, so never really enough time to make the journey out there. But this last trip, I was there for a week, so I was like, hey, I want to come out and check out your place. So I got to check it out, and we also went to visit this place called Kahian. And Kahian is a little coffee shop whose owner was a devotee of Mamoru Taguchi, and Mamoru Taguchi is the owner of Cafe Baha or Cafe Bach in Tokyo. So when you go to this place, Kahian, it has very distinct design stylistic notes that are imported from Baja. So really interesting. And in the video, they're making this iced Don Pachi Natural Geisha coffee. And I thought that we would go ahead and recreate that here to examine just how it's made and stuff like that. Rusty, good morning, man. Good to see you. Enjoying the spring break, I see. Good. So on Saturday, I was down in the city and I went by Williams-Sonoma and I picked up these diamond ice molds. And I was like, oh, these are kind of cool. Let me get them. And they're not terribly expensive. These were $20, right? So $20. And, if you apply for their Pro Chef program, you get like 20% off. So it's like maybe $18, maybe $16, something like that. So not a terrible price. And I was looking at the box, right? Look at this box. Right? Look at this. It's pretty big. Now, there are 2 molds in here. And I was like, oh, okay. And they had this other one that had 4. But those diamonds were kind of small. I was like, I wanted a big sucker diamond. I want a big mother, right? So I thought this big box would be the answer to that. So I bought it. I was like, okay, these are bigger. These have 2 instead of 4. So let me get that because I really wanted something substantial that would fit. There would basically be one big diamond in this glass. So I picked it up. And it turns out that they're really more like this. Or let me get this one. They're more like this, right? And so this is the actual, it comes with a little stand, which is really nice because you can set it inside your freezer, and then you can also stack them. Like if you have, it comes with 2, so you can stack them like that, right? And they're silicone molds, so they have a little stand, they come out, and you can just kind of like fill them with water. Oh, actually, you're supposed to fill it here. I was filling them halfway full. That's why they're not totally correct. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to fill yours from here. I actually wasn't thinking very clearly, and I just filled it like that, thinking that there's going to be enough growth. No, there wasn't. That was foolishness. So basically, all you have to do is take it like this, and then you just pop it out. These have been sitting outside the freezer for the last like 5 minutes, and you have this diamond shaped thing. Now here's something you can see. There's kind of this crystalline explosion happening inside the ice cube. If you can find a way to slow down the freezing process, you will avoid a lot of that crystallization. So just more gentle style of freezing would give you clearer results, right? The faster you freeze something, the more the crystalline. I think in ice making, the faster you freeze it, the more it generates that cloudiness and crystallization. I also think that if you heat the water first and put it in the mold, then I think that's supposedly, I don't know. I haven't really delved into ice science. So today we're going to make a coffee using the method they use. So what they were doing, they were using their standard brew was 12 grams to make a 6-ounce cup. So their iced coffee process was kind of similar to what I've used in the past, where you're using 2 times the amount of coffee with half, 2 times the amount of coffee with half the ratio, right? So, for example, if we apply that to our own theories on coffee, where we used 24 grams of coffee to 350 milliliters of water, we would then use 12 grams of coffee with 200, I'm sorry. We would use the same amount, 24 grams, and then reduce the amount of coffee by half, by the amount of water by half. So instead of 350 milliliters of water to the 24 grams, we would use 170 something milliliters of water. However, the thing is that we have to, that 170 would only give us the amount we need. So I think we would probably increase that to 200 to give us a little bit of room for the absorption of the coffee, right? Does that make sense? Ooh, Craig says 6 to 10 inches of snow expected. Oh my goodness. I couldn't do that. It's so, I imagine now, like in April, like for me, my own personal mindset is like, wow, that would be that'd be tough. It's like, I'm ready for warm weather. I'm ready. I don't want to be hot. I don't want to be humid. Just warm would be nice. Where I don't have to wear jackets all the time. Where I don't have to wear pants all the time. I finally wore shorts on Sunday. Oh no, yeah, Saturday. When I went to my cousin's house for our party, I wore shorts that day. That was really nice. All right, so let's do that. We're going to do 24 grams. We're going to 200 milliliters of water. So let's measure out some. We're going to use this coffee from Finca de Garces. This is the #1 coffee of the Philippine auctions last year. So we're going to use that. It's the Finca de Garces auction lot, Catimor varietal, natural process from Bukidnon, 1,400 meters. And it's supposed to give us almonds, red grapes, orange, and raisin notes. And Craig says that the shop in Sano roasted the Panama Geisha fairly, yeah, definitely, which is really interesting because they're very much an old school style kisaten, but they're also embracing a lot of these newer techniques, so newer like varietals of coffee and newer roasting styles. And I've noticed that a little bit more. Like I'm a big fan of Cafe del Hombre in Ginza, Tokyo, and I have noticed a distinct change over especially the last 10 years of going there, that their offerings and their roast profiles have changed. Like they still have their darker roast, they still have their traditional way of doing things, but they are more and more embracing these newer specialty things that we are doing. And I totally agree with you that the coffee that we had, that geisha, was definitely much more lighter roasted than the other one, the Kahian blend and the Kitameki blend that we had. The Kitameki was actually really pretty. The Kahian blend, very old school, very heavy, very roasty, very much what you'd expect from the Kisaten style coffee. All right, so let us do some measuring. But darker than I would expected from around here. Probably, yeah, for sure. I think they're going to tailor it a little bit more because I think if you went really, really light, like this Nordic style that everyone's trying to make here in America, I think that's too extreme. It's too extreme for me. I'm like, oh, I'm not a big fan. All right, let me zoom in some more here so we can see a little bit better. I hope we have 24 grams. This is some fairly lightly roasted coffee. Really strong aromatic notes coming off of the coffee as I'm standing here pouring it. And as you can see, I'm probably 18 inches from it and really strong. Like that kind of the only way that I can really give a good description is medicinal, that kind of Robitussin kind of that raspberry fruitiness or whatever that, which, is pleasant. It's just kind of, but it is a bit strong and slightly pungent. Not necessarily that meant in a pejorative state or note, but as you can see, it is quite, well, it doesn't look so light on the monitor, but it's actually quite light in person. All right, let's do this. We're going to put this into the grinder. Now, yesterday we went a little bit long, right? Yeah. So I said we're going to click. Maybe I'll do 2 clicks to the left to make it just a slightly bit coarser. Right? Did we go longer? Or did we go faster yesterday? We went longer. All right, let's start it up. Let me move this here. Give you the bird's eye view. So you see there's some popcorning effect now. There's that little one that's dancing around. We're going to shake it to try to get that in there. It's still jumping. Look at that. It's still jumping. There we go. There we go. I think I got caught. All right. All right. Good. 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 All right. That last one took a little while, but here's our coffee. Really strong, like tones coming from it. I kind of like it. All right, so let's get our brewing kettle. We're going to need our origami. In the video itself, they're using something like this. More like the behind. Let's use this instead. We'll use this today instead of the origami. This will give us a closer approximation to what we saw in the video. We're going to need regular paper filters. So I've got this Melita number 4. And as you see, this is wedge. So we're just going to fold up this wedge here and fold up the wedge on this side, just so that everything sits nice and flat in the filter. Add our coffee. We're going to make sure that it's nice and level. Can you see the numbers? No. Oh, you really can't see the numbers. I wonder if it's getting like weaker. If the LEDs are getting weaker, I can't really tell. Let me just pop this heat up a little bit more. Oh, now it says low. Oh. Well, that explains why it was getting low on the that's why it was getting low on the brightness of the screen here, because it actually says low battery. So actually we have exhausted the battery. Now this is, I never recharge it after we received it. So these many brews, I've only used it on the show. So however many days it's been since we got this is how long it's lasted. So I would say, I'm surprised that it ran out, because otherwise I feel like it would be longer, but I'm also not so disappointed because, I have no idea how much battery it had first started. So Luckily, we have another scale at the ready. We're going to go back to our little Atom scale here, our trusty scientific scale from Atom Electronics. Oop. I know, Dan, isn't it terrible? It's terrible. And now we still have our bare scale. So we still have everything that we need to brew. We're just going to have to improvise. And so that's the whole world of brewing. You just got to improvise a little bit. So we got water just off the boil. This is also why I don't put everything away when we do other things, because you never know when you're going to need to, make adjustments. All right, so here we go. Let's go with we're going to start our brewing. We're going to start with just some pre-wetting. So we have 24 grams. We're going to pour a total of 200 grams. So I got to remember that, 200. And in the video, the brew only lasted 2 minutes, 19 seconds. So really, based on our normal brewing method, it doesn't change anything, right? We would do 24 grams, 350 milliliters of water. We want to reach 200 milliliters of water around 2 minutes. So their style of brewing is kind of similar to what we've been doing here. 80 grams, 40 seconds. I do believe they were fine. I believe, looking at the grind setting now, I think they were finer, right? Because she had a lot more volume, look like in the brewer. See, we're at 127 now, only 1 minute. We might be a little bit fast. So I would, again, here's where, we kind of maybe got tripped up from yesterday. I was thinking, let's go a little bit coarser, different coffees, so different densities, different, varieties. Probably should have left it at the same grind setting to see how it would perform in the 20 setting instead of moving it up a little bit. So there it is, a little bit of mistakes that you're going to make along the way that you just need to keep in mind to adjust for as you brew. So 137, we're at 157, so I guess you could say we're a little bit behind. Or maybe we're not too bad. 149, 176, 194. We're almost there. Almost at 200. 200, there we go. 200, 205. So that puts us in the right zone. So 217, 218, 219, we're done. Otherwise, we're just going to say that. Come on. All right, there it is. There it is. Our Finca de Garces, 2 minutes, 19 seconds, 200 milliliters with 24 grams of coffee. So we have theoretically replicated the brew of the coffee we saw in the Kahian video using a different coffee. This is a very different coffee. That was a natural geisha. This is a natural Katibor from the Philippines, and the other one's from Panama. But since they begin with P's, it's all pretty much the same. All right, let's get the glassware now. We got our glass. We've got our nice Riedel water glass that I like to use. And so when you get your mold, the mold, it'll come out of the stand, which is, I think the stand is kind of cool. You are paying a premium for Williams Cinema. I didn't put in the description. I put a link to a couple of these items. The first one is a 2-set. I believe it's a 2-set from Amazon. The one that I put in the link down below looks like it's bigger. So that one's very reasonably priced, very much similar with the silicone. The one after that is actually much more expensive. And that one you freeze large cubes and then you put it in this mold, and the steel molds the ice down to the diamond, which looks a lot more what I was looking for, but it is over $300, so that's something to consider. All right, so we've got our diamond cube. It's melting a little bit. So we're going to put that here at the bottom. Now, in the video, they used a lot more ice. Like they really filled it up. And I'm presuming that we're going to lose a bit of it here. Let me just... so we're going to pour it over. We've lost the point on the cube. I'm going to add the second cube to it because, well, we have the second cube. Might as well add it. I'm also using the same water to make the ice cubes that I used to make the coffee so that there is no difference in the flavor. You could also freeze, you could also brew coffee and then freeze it into cubes and use that. Now, like I said, they did use a preponderance of ice to make the iced coffee in the video. All right, well, let's have a taste. It's not so, that we don't have that much preponderance of ice. We did lose a bit of the volume of the ice, but that is all transferred here. And what that does, it will also chill the coffee. Oops. It'll chill the coffee, but it will also add to the volume of the coffee because as the ice melts, it does dilute the brew down. The idea is that you're going to add enough ice to dilute the coffee to the point where it is at the right ratio for drinking, meaning that you'll still have 350 milliliters of water for your 24 grams. It's just now coming partially from the ice that is melting. And as you can see, the ice is still melting because there was a lot of heat that it needed to cool down. Oh, yeah. That's not bad. Not bad. Definitely a little lighter, a little bit brighter. I think that because of that roast profile. There is that kind of like natural Robitussin-esque kind of fruitiness to it. But it's easy drinking, nice. This one brews up fairly medium plus in body. It's interesting. It's interesting. This is definitely in that category of like florality, natural, medicinal. Like in the video where Kimberly's drinking the geisha, the Don Pachi Natural Geisha, she didn't like it. Like you could tell. It's kind of funny watching the video later. But this is definitely if you're looking for that geisha that geisha kind of experience, this coffee kind of has similar characteristics to that, while being heavier. This is definitely heavier than that geisha. The geisha is super light, really light to medium on body. This is getting more medium to heavy in body, but with some similar floral notes as well as this, fruity, medicinal, Robitussin-esque character. All right. So, any thoughts on the brewing, on using ice? I thought the ice is just a nice presentation. Where you have these cubes, but I would like it to be bigger. Like the cubes these diamonds are cool, but I do think they're a bit on the small side. Part of me thinks maybe I should return these and get the bigger ones if they have bigger ones. But they're nice little molds. So if you're interested in trying them, they're pretty worthwhile to try. They go together fairly simple. You just kind of line them up here like this and press them together. And you can do like I didn't do, which is you fill it from here, this hole, and you fill all the way to the top so that it fully molds. And then you just put it in the stand. There it is, and then it can stack. That's the nice thing about these Williams-Sonoma ones. They can stack, although there's a lot of gap here in the stack. So it's like they could be small, they could be shorter so that the tips are closer. That way you can stack more in your freezer. Like if you wanted to buy 15 of these or whatever, it would stack better. But, rather thoughtful, I would say, in their design. All right, I guess that's pretty much it for me today. Thank you very much for tuning in. Appreciate you being here. We're back again tomorrow with more here on the Coffee Q&A. So if you have any questions about coffee, drop them in the comments, or if you have suggestions for future videos, or just something you want to get off your chest and need advice on, let me know. I might be able to help. All right, so until next time, thank you, Mom, Dan, Craig, Rusty. Good to see all of you guys. Hope you have a wonderful day out there, and see you next time.